Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that just drawdown on the Bitcoin chart as well as some of these altcoins. Guys, we can see that, of course, in the last episode, I was talking about the potential for a pullback just to retest the breakout of these formations that we had going on here. And you can see that we are starting to get a little bit of a toppy pattern here with a bearish drives on Bitcoin, multiple bearish drives on the 12-hour chart here. As for our daily key levels, as long as we can recover 70,160, I'm going to be strongly biased to the upside, especially if we can get 71,520, that bull zone. However, right now we're just going a little bit sideways with the potential for a deeper pullback, maybe to the big alpha energy line, somewhere around 65,800, should we lose the hold momentum level at 67,570 on a daily close here. This range right here is pretty important because we do have the weekly volatility pivot in this area. So if we close above 68,070 by the end of the week, then I'm also going to have that just very strong bias to the upside. And as long as we're underneath that, again, we could just continue to draw down. We do have good support below us. So, of course, I'm not too worried here. Just a question of whether or not we go a little bit sideways before we make an up move, or do we get that kind of bullishness right away, right? So these are the key levels that we're looking for. Now, if we do jump over to Ethereum, you can see a very similar setup here on Ethereum. Ethereum, of course, did pump to the levels that we were predicting here at Alpha Commission and almost to a T there. Now you can see, just like Bitcoin, we also have this Bollinger Band that's starting to contract, and that does suggest that volatility is ramping up here, getting ready for the next big move. Not sure if we're here yet, but we can see that these momentum pools are getting extremely skinny between the hold and lose momentum levels, and usually that means something's about to happen. Again, we're on the 12-hour chart, but I'm giving you these daily levels, which if for Ethereum, if we're above the 3,775 mark, then we will have that bias for continuation to the upside, as we are still in the bull zone, unlike Bitcoin. As long as we're above 3,690, where do we start looking a little bit shaky? Well, if we do draw down to below the weekly volatility pivot, here somewhere around 3,470, then of course that could give us a bias for a deeper retracement on the higher time frames, and that could just take a long time going sideways. So we do want to keep above that 3470, and we would just love to hang out above that 3690 just to make sure that we stay in that bull zone, and things just look really good for ETH as long as we're just hanging out in these levels going sideways, maybe getting ready for its next push to the upside. We don't really lose any type of seriousness in this chart unless we get below that 32, 35 area, where we do lose that strength of the move on our breakout there in Solana. Again, this is just the pattern that's basically in all the charts right now, where even if we had a broadening descending wedge or a falling wedge or whatnot, doesn't matter what the previous pattern was, we do see this type of retesting of these formations on almost every chart. And also for Sol, we are just getting into this very narrow contraction on the Bollinger Bands on the 12-hour, suggesting that there is the potential setup for a squeeze to the downside or the upside. Volatility is direction neutral. As long as we can recover 175, this volatility pivot on the daily here for Ethereum, for Solana, then I am going to have that bias to the upside. And as long as we're above 150, I'm going to have that higher time frame bias to the upside. But if we do lose 168 here, we will lose our hold momentum, and then that could suggest retrying that big alpha energy, just that strength of the move from the breakout of this formation. And if we do lose that, then maybe we go back to test the weekly volatility pivot. And market makers often do that, just kind of exploring between the bull and the bear zone. But we really want to get back into that bull zone for a continuation, and we can do that by capturing the daily volatility pivot and then just really quickly flipping that bull zone, and boom, maybe we get that $200 level. Guys, that's your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.